Of course, there's an error with Stream 2 right now. I gotta figure that out.
It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Okay, hi again, everybody. On a Thursday, it is the Patrick Johnson Show on a deal where there appears to be a lot, and I mean a lot of smoke, so there's got to be some fire when it comes to this deal now with Stanford, Cal, and SMU set to join the ACC. This thing seemed to have stalled out, but now it is apparently picked back up, and there's some word out there that maybe tomorrow this thing could be announced. The presidents were trying to get together at some point and obviously have the vote on this. The big question is, out of the four who were not for this, who flipped or how many flipped? If they just needed one. You know, the reporting was NC State and North Carolina did not find themselves voting in favor of expanding the ACC just a week or so ago. Same thing for Florida State and Clemson. So, you know, everything we kind of keep hearing in this entire deal is that North Carolina and North Carolina State are pretty much at the hip on this whole thing. You know, all the stuff about UNC may wind up going to this conference or that conference. Part of that is lawmakers at the state level don't foresee a situation where they both go. Politically, I just think it would be tough to happen where one would go to a Big Ten or an SEC. Maybe I'm wrong. It would seem like that those two, just based on what lawmakers are saying in the state, have to be in tandem. So they seem to be pretty well connected on this, their vote. So maybe one of them flipped, or maybe they both did. The other one flipping when one of them flipped is what I'm getting at. Might have been Florida State, but I kind of doubt it with what Florida State has been saying. So, I mean, maybe it was Clemson, but I think Clemson was voting from a football interest standpoint. So there's all kinds out there. It looks like this is just going to be a football, men's and women's basketball deal. And again, there's enough credible people reporting on this and the likelihood of it that appears to be the case. We've put some messages out to some of our ACC folks that we know that have their ear truly to the ground on this. So we will see. All right, so that's the big piece of news involving college athletics from my standpoint today. At least I think that's the big thing. That's what everybody wants to talk about still, even as we get close to the start of the season. And I think that's pretty interesting. Let's see here. If you are normally joining us on any of our social media streaming platforms for video, apparently we're having some issues with that. So that is the latest on that situation. We'll work to rectify them as quickly as possible. We're going to do a Pirate Report here in just a second. Also going to do in just a little bit, Jim Szoke on the phone. We'll talk about the Panthers, who get ready for a game tomorrow night to wrap up the preseason against Detroit. Detroit might actually be a good team this year. And also we're going to bring you an interview with Adler Augustin. He is the third-year volleyball coach for ECU, and they will open their season in Statesboro, Georgia, tomorrow, an event where they will play both UNCG and homestanding Georgia Southern. Right now, though, we get into our Pirate Report.
And now, Patrick Johnson with today's Pirate Report on the flagship station of the ECU Pirates, 94.3 The Game.
We're going to hear from defensive coordinator Blake Harrell today. And he talked about the scout teams getting acclimated to things when he spoke to the media late Wednesday.
You know, it's nice to have 2 weeks to prepare, not only for our defensive guys, but for the whole thing, our whole operation, just to kind of get ironed out and greased up. You know, it's day one of your look teams and trying to get the Michigan look and the details there. And, you know, I thought they gave a good effort, but it's just got to honing in on the finer details of things and how you want to go about your business, go about the process to make sure you're prepared September 2nd for a team like Michigan or anybody in your schedule. So we'll get there. And it'll be a lot better tomorrow than it was today. But we got to push them and we got to push ourselves and make sure we do that.
All right, more from Blake Harrell, where he says his job is easy when the players have each other's backs and they get along pretty well.
Power hour, I've enjoyed that. Just kind of me and my wife joking around at the house, watching that and laughing around. But I've been saying this: it's a good group to be around, and just they're enjoyable. Any day you can come to the building, you enjoy being around that group of guys, group of young men, group of kids. That's a good day, and I think that's something special too.
All right, more from Blake Harrell right now, who gets into the level of physicality that they can expect from the Michigan offensive line and how the Pirates are preparing for that.
You know, I think one thing we did in preseason camp was just compete against the offense and every single day and everything we do. I mean, that's kind of the nature of how we go about our business, how the culture of how we do things as a physicality, and take a lot of pride in that. Our players take a lot of pride in that, of being physical and trying to out-physical the other team. And obviously, you know, the Big Ten and Michigan is known for run game, powerful physical football, and you know, we'll see if we can match up with that, and we're certainly going to take a lot of pride in trying to. That's for sure, and we're going to go practice that way every single day until September 2nd.
More from Blake Harrell when he was asked about getting all three of the outside linebackers on the field at the same time, and that possibility. Hit it.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I don't know. You know, we try to talk about our best 11 football players, and sometimes, well, you got your best 11. Sometimes they're at the same position, so you better find different ways to get them on the field. You know, is that two defensive ends, or is that one of them at linebacker, or how does that work out? And so we're working through those things now, and kind of experimented with some things all preseason camp of what the best lineup there is, and like you said, they all bring something different to the table. I mean, Jeremy Lewis is dynamic as a pass rusher. He's also a great pass dropper. Sam Danka, you know, he's probably as long as any defensive player we got, and rush the passer, get his hands up, but he's also really good, you know, dropping into coverage. And Jack works harder than anybody on the field and can do a little line. He played linebacker before, played outside backer before, so they all bring something, and I think we can use them. It's nice to have that depth at that position for sure to keep those bodies fresh, but I think there's also a chance to get them on the field together too.
All right, a couple more from Blake Harrell here. He talked about the inside linebackers for this Pirate defense.
Yeah, I think that room is a growing room, and some of it's from guys just getting familiar with the defense. I mean, B.J. Davis is all MEAC player of the year last year in the MEAC, so he's played a lot of snaps, and he's getting more comfortable every day. He's way more comfortable now in the defense than he was in the spring. He's just got to be consistent with it, and we've talked about that, and and he's shown flashes of that he can be a really, really good player. Mike Edwards is another one that's, played a lot of snaps at Georgia Southern, over 500 as a freshman. I think he's getting more comfortable every day, and he just got to make sure that he's ready for that physicality in the box there. And I think those three young men inside the box, if we can keep them healthy and keep them fresh, then we can have something there.
All right, and last thing up here for Blake Harrell today on our Pirate Report, he talked about J.D. Lampley needing to bulk up a little more.
I think his ideal weight would probably be around 270 if he could get there. He's a little under that right now, but you see him. He runs really well. I mean, very athletic young man that, can rush the edge but plays with power. So does some things there. So, when I found the Nick Bosa clip or tweet or whatever it was the other day and sent that to him, it made me think like he is that type of player. I don't know if he's quite Nick Bosa, but he reminds you of that version type of guy that, we played him inside, and he's certainly a player in there. And I think when he first got here, he was around 290. And he's lost weight. He really looks good. He's just not heavy as what has been, but he's still explosive. Still has that power, and I'm expecting big things out of JD this fall.
All right, Blake Harrell in today's Pirate Report. All right, we were scheduled at 7 this evening to have a call on our social medias with Doug Martin. Because of our issues with the book and some of our other streaming platforms, we may not be doing that at 7, but we will have Doug Martin tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is the premiere of the Logan Zone. We get preempted at 5 o'clock now every Friday through the football season with Steve Logan on 94.3 and Talk 103.7 and 96.3. We will be here at 6 o'clock for what that's worth. So we'll have a show for you leading into Rose football. So a full football Friday starting at 5 here with the Logan Zone and Rose football, and sandwiched in between merely the Patrick Johnson Show. Okay, a timeout, and when we come back, we will visit with Jim Szoke, find out about what's going on with the Carolina Panthers, and find out some of the other things that are happening out there. As far as his adventures with the Pirates. So stay with us here on the PJ Show on this Thursday.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice-over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice-over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, phones, new or used. Give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Pizza?
Yes. All pineapple.
No.
What's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
I only eat pizza with pizza things.
That makes sense. Pineapple is a pizza thing.
Also makes sense.
Is it though?
This tastes great.
That we agree on.
Let's agree to agree. Pepsi Zero Sugar tastes great.
Can't you just pick off the pineapple?
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm very ready.
Okay, ready?
You ready? Streaming to the world at 943thegame.com. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. Now in all his glory, here's the P-Man.
Okay, welcome back on this Thursday. And tomorrow night, the Carolina Panthers will wrap up the preseason. We have Jim Szoke, Panthers Radio Network, and this year he'll be the play-by-play voice for Pirate Football on the ECU Sports Network. Always great to catch up with Szoke as we talk some ball with him. Szoke, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Let me start with something because I know you talk. You've been in this state for a long time, and you obviously follow this with where you are out in Charlotte. I mean, this ACC thing, which looked like it was going away, and all of a sudden now it's coming back. There appears to be a lot of fire with this new smoke with Cal, Stanford, and now SMU out of the American joining the conference. So from what I'm understanding, it's a football, basketball, men's and women's only deal, but kind of interesting. What's your read on it? What's your take?
It's everybody trying to line up, right? So the Pac-12 got picked apart, and now it's what are the pieces that are left, and what to do if you're Stanford and Cal, what to do if you're the ACC, watching the Big Ten and the SEC grow all around you. And you mentioned SMU out of the AAC as being part of this as well. So it's TV markets. In the case of Stanford and Cal in particular, it's the academics and kind of the top to bottom athletics of Stanford that they could offer if it continues in a full out way down the road. But I think part of it was also the limiting the amount of money that the new schools would get it
right.
They enter, because the existing schools don't want a full share going to these new schools coming in. So all that to be worked out, but it's a mess. I mean, honestly, Patrick, it's a mess. It doesn't feel like conferences to me anymore. A couple coaches, I think Chip Kelly might have been one of them, said they probably should just make football its own separate thing, and then leave the other sports alone, so you're not traveling. And again, not particular to these three schools you're mentioning, but all the ones that have been moved about, what they have to deal with now.
Well, and you made a very good point there that I didn't mention in the beginning. Under this, it would be 5 to 7 years. SMU, I guess, would not be taking any money, which seems insane. And then lower shares for Cal and Stanford. I would do this, though, if I were in the new ACC offices in Charlotte. I would make Notre Dame travel to all three places in basketball, men's and women's, every year, since they were the ones who have pushed so hard for the. I'd make them every year travel there. That's what I would do.
You wanted it. You get your road trip every year.
Right. You get the road trip without fail. They can come to you, but you're always going to those three places every year. All right. The great Jim Szoke is with us here. So, Jim, I'm a little I don't know if maybe concerned is a little overstated about the Panthers. I didn't think they looked particularly great, even though you can't read anything into the final score. But what's your read after 2 games in the books on this thing as we go into tomorrow night?
To me, it's just hard to judge. It's like judging somebody, in progress, making a meal or building a house. I just feel like, they've had short sample sizes with the starters. The Lions, who they play tomorrow, Coach Dan Campbell's not played any starters in the first 2 preseason games, and he won't tomorrow. So how do you judge what the Lions have if you're like a fan or media person? You're kind of going all on last year. And so for the Panthers, I think they're just trying to get an evaluation with a whole new coaching staff and all these new players of where they are, get some work for the first team, which they'll do again tomorrow, and a replay, probably a series or 2 for Bryce Young and players like that, and then get ready. They feel, Frank Reich says it every day that he speaks, he feels good about what he's seeing in practice, what he saw in OTAs, meeting rooms, you name it. He's pleased with what they're getting out of these guys. So he seems confident. He's been a head coach in this league. He played 14 years. I mean, he knows what it takes to get ready for the regular season. So I'm not one to give like a big opinion on what we've eyeballed in 2 preseason games in a short sample size.
Well, let me ask you this, Szoke. Let me ask you this. How do you think the offensive line played? Again, maybe tough to tell, but they didn't look good at all in the first one against the Jets. How do you think they played in New York?
Yeah, I think everyone agreed, that game. And again, you're talking about starters through second and third string.
Correct.
You talk about 5 quarterback sacks. It wasn't like Ike Ekwonu gave up 5 sacks. I mean, I look at Ike and, after his very first game in the NFL against future Hall of Famer Myles Garrett and the Browns, I mean, he was excellent. So I look at that and value what he did in an entire regular season versus people getting hyped up about 2 sacks that he had a hand in. And they said the one this past week against the Giants on the road was about a miscommunication. So it wasn't like he had a physical error, even got beat. And you will get beat at times. And I will say this, the Giants and Jets are 2 of the most imposing defensive fronts you'll face anywhere in the NFL. So no excuses. It's just a matter of they got to play better. And again, a lot of this is just winning one-on-one matchups. They're not doing a lot of help. They're not bringing extra blockers in a lot of cases and things like that. Again, not showing a lot, not scheming. It includes the offensive line play, not just with the playmakers. So to me, James Campen is one of the finest offensive line coaches in the league. They've got 4 of the 5 starters upright right now. They'll get Austin Corbett back, early in the regular season. So I think they'll be good. I'd be interested again to see how Chandler Zavala does, the rookie out of NC State. He'll start at right guard. So if he can play well in this game, and they do value preseason games more than practices as far as the weighting system goes, he could be the starter for the first couple games.
The great Jim Szoke, Panthers Radio Network, is with us. We'll have a portion of that, I believe, tomorrow on 103.7 WTIB, and then we will have, of course, Jim calling ECU this year on 107.9 and 94.3 The Game right here. So it's all Szoke all the time on our IBX media stations, and we're excited about that. Jim, looks like the Panthers will be getting back some guys that they find will be key as far as be ready for September 10th. Miles Sanders said absolutely he'll be ready. It appears, according to Coach, that Dante Jackson should also be ready to go for the opener. So that's some good news.
Yeah, like for tomorrow's game, no Laviska Shenault, Terrace Marshall, DJ Chark. So you hope to get those guys back, you said, for opening day on the 10th of September down in Atlanta. You want to be healthy as can be when the regular season gets started. And outside of Austin Corbett, doesn't look like anything long-term. Of course, they had Demir Bird go on injured reserve from his hamstring injury down in Spartanburg. This past week, they brought in Troy Hill, veteran addition at cornerback, played with Ajero Avero when he was with the Rams back in the day. So I think that adds, again, some depth to the defensive secondary at corner, as should Dante Jackson not be 100% for whatever reason. So I think they got the pieces about as healthy and lined up as they can. We'll see what happens tomorrow night, of course, but again, the starters will not be out there for too long.
Hey, with Chark, how big of a loss is that if it's a little bit of a longer-term thing?
Yeah, I think he's your speed guy. I kind of liken him to being someone like Ted Ginn, who could take the top off of defense back in the day when he was here, and he's had a really good connection with in the practices and some of the joint practice sessions with Bryce Young. So you like to see that develop. But again, they don't get a lot of the injuries because they don't have to in preseason. It is a hamstring injury, but it doesn't seem to be, obviously, like Demir Bird had a hamstring. He's on injured reserve. It doesn't appear to be a long-term thing is what they're saying from all the reports out there. So hopefully, you're about 3 weeks away. You can get him ready for that first regular season game in 2.5 weeks.
Szoke, I would say maybe 20, maybe a little less than that, players, quote-unquote, on the bubble. Is Matt Corral one of them in your mind? Is he kind of on the bubble right now to make the roster?
I think he could be. I think, there is the rule this year where you can activate the emergency third quarterback, so he would obviously be that guy. So I think he would be here in that scenario. But I think, I was clearly, Andy Dalton is the backup, so Matt as the third guy. If somebody contacted you looking for a young quarterback, you might listen and take a draft pick for him. But I think otherwise, if there's not an offer for him, I think he'll be here. I think he's shown well. He had no rookie season as far as games. He got injured in his first preseason game against Washington last year. So a lot of rust on that. No game action, recovering from the foot injury last year. So I think, again, he's kind of knocking off a lot of rust from the last year and a half and played decent in the preseason games. So it might be a guy you stick around and see how he develops a little bit more too.
And Szoke, what do you think as far as other guys that, have to maybe impress here in the tomorrow and what have you, and as far as guys that are on the bubble, if you will?
I think, Shi Smith might be one that comes to mind. Again, there's South Carolina wide receiver who special teams might help him because I think it looks like Raheem Blackshear will be the starting punt and kick returner and a third back as far as running back goes for you with the Panthers. So Shi, I think, is a guy that might be pushed by Javon Wims, kind of a 28-year-old guy who's been around the league a couple of years with the Bears. Gary Jennings showed a couple decent things, a touchdown catch last week late in the game. So they could make a move like something like that. But I think Shi probably lands on the right side of the bubble if things go the way they are for him right now. They brought in Eric Rowe as a safety who's a veteran, but he got beat for that long touchdown last week by Hyatt. We'll see if if they value preseason games, that was a pretty big one. And someone like Sam Franklin has to make the team because he's a special teams ace. So there's not a lot of room at backup safety beyond that. So guys like that are a couple to keep an eye on. Obviously, a lot of depth at receiver and offensive line. Someone who's been around, like Michael Jordan, who's been around for a while as a backup offensive lineman, could be in a fight for a spot here. So we'll see what happens with him.
Jim Szoke's with us. Were you in Greenville the other day? Did you make it down?
I'll be back. Well, I was back last week, but I'll be back early next week and get in town to see some practice, interview, of course, Coach Houston, but also both of the coordinators as well, Coach Harrell and Coach Kirkpatrick, and then be there Thursday, Friday, travel Friday with the team to Ann Arbor, Michigan to kick it off. I can't believe this, a week from Saturday already, getting ready. So I got my depth charts rocking and rolling.
Okay.
Been doing the study here. Got Stephen Igo, your guy, filling me in with a lot of the blanks on top of everything else that's going on. Nobody does it better than he does as far as information. So I feel like once we get there, I'm just now delving into the Michigan part of things, getting their stuff together. We'll talk with some of their guys next week on some of their shows and get a lot of Michigan information. Right. But it's going to be a special game going up to Ann Arbor.
They are just loaded. I mean, this team might be, you can make an argument Michigan's the most talented team in the country this year.
Well, they're in the top two for sure based on all the polls. So they are, I mean, you can't find a weakness on a team like that. I mean, J.J. McCarthy is going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. They got two exceptional running backs in Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, maybe the best guard tandem on the offensive line up front. And then defensively, I mean, they're just loaded. I mean, it's just, all three levels on defense. So people are like, well, they won't have Jim Harbaugh. Well, he'll be there all week at practices, and the only thing he won't be is on the sideline. And I'm going to guess he has some way of, giving the secret handshake and wink or whatever if he wants something to be said or done. But they're very good. They call it. It's interesting. They call it the Michigan method, and the way they do it is like if they don't know who a starter is going to be to begin the season, they'll give them both a chance and let them play it out in the first couple games. Yeah. And so they got some tackle is one they're looking at as far as who the two starting tackles are going to be at the edges on defense and at the cornerback spot. So they're looking at a couple different things for their season. Of course, they begin the 3-game suspension with ECU and then UNLV, then Bowling Green, my alma mater, before they head into Big Ten play. So I think they're going to be using these 3 games to try to evaluate, what they think for Big Ten play and what they're moving forward with.
Szoke, is there anybody in particular in your early study on the Pirate side or any position group, specific player, any story that you're looking to delve into or anybody that you're looking forward to see or what would you say, initially here the storylines in your mind are going in?
Collectively, big picture, first of all, is just so much talent, I think, collectively at the skill positions and at quarterback on offense. but not the game experience yet. Some minor game experience, and in some cases, very little at all. But that running back room looks loaded. Rajay Harris, I met with Coach Houston last week, called him 100% healthy. And then you factor in Gunn, you bring in Gerald Green, and Javius Bond. I mean, this kid's going to play as a freshman, I think. He's just got that twitch. Yeah, he is going to be something special. And then how the receivers step up. I mean, obviously talk about, losing Keaton at running back, but, 2,000-yard receivers, of course, is Hatfield a one? Is Jalen Johnson a one? Like, who's going to be the kind of the head of that receiving group out there? I think Mason Garcia can play. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's 6'5". He just needs to get out there and be able to play, and probably can run it a little bit more because of his physicality as well as the speed that he's got for that size. So I'm excited to see what he can bring. And if they go Alex Flynn, I mean, just that guy who's been in the program for so long and just a steady guy, they got a really good, two guys that could be starters at quarterback. And then defensively, I mean, some big names coming back. You got Jeremy Lewis, you got Julius Wood. So I think it's going to be fun watching a lot of these guys play and put it all together this year. Again, they've lost a lot, but everyone has. But I think it's going to be exciting to see what they put on the field this year because I think they're really building something special in Greenville.
Szoke, the other thing, just to go back when you mentioned Harbaugh, again, I think maybe at the end of the day, don't we love that phrase? The first weekend that I don't know how much of a difference that makes. I think the fascinating thing with Harbaugh at Michigan is how, this was the AD passing this down. That was already a tenuous relationship. So I think more long-term, that could be a little bit of controversy off the field that could derail things for them this year. So, I mean, we always pay attention to teams you played when you look back as the season goes on, and that'll be the interesting Michigan story in my mind. What do you think?
It's an interesting dynamic because we're talking about how good Michigan is, how they're loaded across the board. The success Harbaugh's had, back-to-back Big Ten titles, beat Ohio State the last 2 years. That's everything you could ask for out of a Michigan coach. Yet he threw his hat in the ring for the Carolina Panthers coaching job.
Yeah.
I mean, so, yeah, he's got an interest in the NFL. So is he not all in on the college thing? Is he not all in on the Michigan thing? He would not take another college job beyond Michigan, so we know that. So if he makes a move, it's to the pros. But it is fascinating that, where there's on this lofty perch, how you kind of said it, there's like still a lot of uncertainty moving forward for a guy that this offseason was at least throwing his name around. I think Denver, he might have thrown his name in there before they went with Sean Payton. So he's got an interest in pro football again, as he did with the Niners.
Always great to talk to Jim Szoke. We'll be bugging him every week, as we do. Szoke, good to talk to you. Thanks for the time.
All right, buddy. Hope to see you in person next week out there in Greenville.
We'll make it work out one way or the other. Take care, Szoke.
All right, thanks.
All right, there he goes, Jim Szoke. Tomorrow, the Panthers and the Lions to wrap up the preseason from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. All right, we are going to hit a break, and when we come back after these words, we're going to talk some Pirate volleyball. My friend Adler Augustin will join us, third-year volleyball coach for the Pirates, and they're getting ready to open their season coming up in Statesboro, Georgia. So stand by. Adler Augustin will be with us when we come back on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Pizza?
Yes. All pineapple.
No.
What's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
I only eat pizza with pizza things.
That makes sense. Pineapple is a pizza thing.
Also makes sense.
Is it though?
This tastes great.
That we agree on.
Let's agree to agree. Pepsi Zero Sugar tastes great.
Can't you just pick off the pineapple?
Back to the P-Man.
And that's powerful stuff.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Pirate volleyball season getting underway tomorrow. They will be in Statesboro, Georgia, and they'll be playing in an event down there at Georgia Southern. UNCG is also involved. Adler Augustin is the coach of the Pirates, and he has done a fantastic job. He's got this program on the ascension, and he joins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Coach, always great to talk to you, and hope it was a great summer for you.
Yeah, it was a great summer. Spent a lot of time on the road recruiting, doing summer camp. So it's great that we get to be with our team back practicing and back in Minji.
You know, the recruiting, as you know, is the lifeblood of any program. You've been able to benefit, it appears, from the portal, but also recruiting a lot of young talent into the program as well. And Texas is a place I know you were excited about having some doors open with the new additions to the American. The travel part is, I guess, the downside, but the upside is a lot of good volleyball in Texas, and that's an area that now maybe has opened up a little more in recruiting, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Having Texas schools join the American helps a lot with recruiting, for sure. But I think me being that I was in Texas before definitely gave me that advantage. But Texas definitely has a lot of good volleyball. So anytime we could go down there and get some kids to North Carolina, it's a great thing.
Adler Augustin's the coach of the Pirates in volleyball. They will open play tomorrow. We'll tell you about the home slate coming up. Let's talk about preseason all-first-team conference selection. Angeles Alderate, what a year she had as a freshman, was the freshman of the year in the AAC. So with Alderate, what are the steps, the strides she's made from year one to year two?
Yeah, I think her passing has gotten a lot better. I think she's seeing the game from a different perspective. Before it was just kind of pure, hey, I'm just going out there and doing my best. I think now she's analyzing the game a lot, asking a lot of questions. I think she feels, she knows for sure people are going to have her as one of the main sources to stop on our team. So she's definitely gone and added some new tools to her toolbox to compensate for that and just kind of be ready mentally and physically. Did a lot of weightlifting in the off season to get ready for what's going to happen this year.
Coach Adler, what else or who else have you all have returning that you're looking to get some key contributions out? Let's start there.
Yeah, we got Izzy Marinelli, who's returning, who's a redshirt freshman. I think how she ended the season in that last bit of October and month of November was probably one of the best performances in the conference. So we're looking for her to pick up where she left off. I think if she could be a really solid player, probably a first-team all-conference type player on our team. Then we have coming from Carlia's back in the middle. So, freshman year was a little bit up and down for her, like most freshmen. But I think, again, she ended up well. She did a lot of good things in the off season. She's looking pretty good in our preseason play here. And then you got Alyssa, who kind of bounced around from different positions because we just needed that. But now she's solidified herself as a middle. So she'll definitely be the other middle with Carlia holding down that position. And then one of the key pieces that I guess people didn't get to see last year was Tia, chum from Canada. She played in her freshman year. Unfortunately, got tore ACL towards the end of her freshman year a year ago. So she missed the entire season. She's back now, looking better than ever, moving very well. She's kind of put it herself at the top of the libero position, even coming off of that injury. So she's definitely looking to, be a key contributor for our program. And then we got, like you said, we took some advantages in the portal with Fran McBride from Mississippi State. So she came in mid-year, which helped. So we got to work with her lots in the spring. So she's doing a fantastic job. Can't wait to see how she does when we start play here.
Who else has joined the squad as newcomers via the portal or that you've recruited in that are young freshmen?
Oh, man. We got, I believe, 7 freshmen, and then we also have Laura Uar, who played at Wichita State as a transfer. So, she did a really good job for them. So once we saw her in the portal, well, she gave us fits. Why not put her on our team now, right, when we played them? So that's kind of how I looked at it. She's doing a great job for us on our defense, but the freshmen are excited. It's going to be interesting to see how each career develops. As freshmen, some of them come in and they're ready to go, and some of them take a little bit more time, but they're all very capable of getting on the floor and getting some playing time.
Adler Augustin is with us, ECU volleyball coach. They open the season in Statesboro, Georgia against UNC Greensboro tomorrow at noon. Georgia Southern is who they will play later on in the day, Friday, and then Saturday, the rematch with the Spartans. Before the ECU team comes back to Greenville, Pirate Invitational, we'll see them take on Campbell on the 31st at 7 o'clock, and then on Friday the 1st, 7 o'clock against Bethune-Cookman. That game will be on ESPN+, but no excuse not to come out to the Coliseum for exciting volleyball. And I'll be there with you on the second, Coach, App State, with Brittany. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys for the first time. I'll be doing the pregame and then race over to Minji's to call some volleyball. So I'll be bugging you a lot here in the next week or so. Adler
we love it.
Adler Augustin is with us. Well, the thing I've really looking at the makeup of the team this year and hearing your enthusiasm and talking to people who follow the program, it seems like the caliber of recruit is up, and you've really worked this portal well. You've addressed needs, you've added there, but you have some talented youngsters that have come in. So I have to imagine with this roster and all of the talent, it is fostering a lot more, inter-squad competition in practice.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. Man, I wish people were there. A lot more people were there doing the purple and gold scrimmage. That was, amazing sight to see. We play. It went all the way to 5 sets. Some sets were 32-30. One was 28-26, and in the fifth, it was 17-15. So there was a lot of, a lot of talking through the nets. I was actually calling the game, so I let both assistants coach each side.
All right, wait a minute, Coach. Hang on, timeout. Did you get some heat on you as the referee?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. There was a lot of, I don't think that was a good call. That ball was in. There was no touch. Yeah, it was. They were getting after me as a ref for sure. So it was fun to see the competitiveness, how they would get going after it, how they would get after each other. And like I said, the scores alone just shows you how competitive is. No one side was just dominating the other. So which is great. That's what you want as a coach. You want the practices to be tough. You want them to compete in practice at a high level. So hopefully that prepares them well for what they're going to face in the game.
I know you still have, we'll say a ways to go, but you're still on the journey where you want to wind up. And and so to me last year, the nature of the makeup of this team while young, they were more never say die, more competitive. The times I saw them, did you feel like last year got us on this direction where we're going now, or is that still something that you're working to develop? Because you guys were tough out last year.
Yeah, we were last year was different. We were tough. I love what we did last year in terms of we competed to the end. We went to 5. I don't know. I think we probably went to 5 the most out of everybody in our conference. So that means we were always in the game. We just couldn't close out certain games. I think there's at least 2 or 3 games I felt like we should have did a little bit better job. But we were super young, all right? And then we were plagued with some injuries at at the worst time. But I think this year we have way more depth at all the positions. So everybody's competing all the time. So hopefully, injuries, you never know when they come, but we address that with some depth. And also I think after playing for a year together, they came back with a different mindset. They know what it takes to get there. And I think this team has a different belief. They believe. Last year, I think we were as coaches, we're trying to instill that belief in them. But I think this year, they truly believe within themselves that they could make it happen. So that's pretty cool to see. So that's, part of the battle. The players have to think that they're as good as we tell them they are. And I think that's, they have that this year, and it's definitely going to show when we play.
Coach Adler, Augustin, ECU volleyball, they will open their season this weekend. Tomorrow, games against Greensboro and UNC Greensboro and Georgia Southern. That Georgia Southern game, by the way, will be on ESPN Plus tomorrow night at 6 if you want to get a look at the Pirates.
All right.
And UNCG will be who the Pirates play in the Borough at the old Hanner Fieldhouse on Saturday. The Pirate opener will be against Campbell, 7 o'clock on Thursday. Hope a lot of folks will head out. There's a new field to the arena this year because of the LED lights. So do you all have some cool things planned there?
I'm not in those discussions yet because they're putting him up. I just try to stay with in my lane, right? So we just I'm usually focused on volleyball. All the other stuff,
true.
I think
you are.
Usually the other stuff are for the fans and the players love it. I think it's cool, but I try to stay within the volleyball and try to accomplish what we need to accomplish.
He does, folks, because Adler's an intense studier of film, and he's there before matches, still studying film, just trying to gain that edge. Hey, new teams coming to the American. You go to UAB, you get Florida Atlantic in for a pair. North Texas will be on your schedule. travel to Rice in one of those Texas swings, and then Charlotte and UTSA. So you get everybody who's joined the league. How do you see them enhancing the American, and what do they bring to the table?
Oh man, they bring a lot. It's really good volleyball teams. I don't know about the other sports, but volleyball, it's everyone has a team. Everybody's and their team's been around for a while. They've had good coaches, and obviously the teams that are for the 3 teams from Texas, they get maybe some advantages staying in recruiting in Texas. But Rice is a top 25 preseason too. They're bringing a lot to the table as far as matchups. But I think the team's excited, especially getting to play new opponents. I think that's really cool. Getting to see new arenas, new parts of the country. So I think the team themselves are excited to get after it and create some rivalries now that we have Charlotte. So that's going to maybe create some interstate rivalry there. So I'm excited to at least bust one of our trips, right? So that's also good, right? So we don't have to get on a flight. So I love that part.
Hey, Coach Augustin, it's always great to catch up with you. We'll talk to you next week in advance of the home opening event, the Pirate Invitational. Best of luck, safe travels to Georgia, and look forward to covering you guys this season.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. Hope to see everyone out there when we play Campbell home opener, and go Pirates.
Yep, that'll be on the 31st. That's Adler Augustin Pirate Volleyball. Stay tuned. More of the Patrick Johnson Show after these words.
5th Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous 5th Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. 5th Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. It's like a paper, like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into. And I break a sweat. Let's get it, 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 let's get it. Child, please, I don't need a towel, please.
Are you game day ready? Anson Belt, the official belt of ECU Athletics.
Are you ready for a digital hair color revolution? The Color Master Factory by Chi and LG. A masterpiece of innovation, unlimited color formulations, limitless possibilities, long-lasting color. Chi.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back. We have this book, Gridiron Legacy by Greg Fiercy. And it is a sensational book. You can get it at gridironlegacy.com or just Google Gridiron Legacy book and you will get it. It is about the origins of professional football. And it was not Canton, Ohio. So I think next week we might give this book away. I mean, I've thumbed through it here in the office, but not a whole lot of that. But it's such a beautiful book, though. I'm almost hesitant to do that because it really is a nice book. So I think we're going to have the author on tomorrow on the show. So I think you'll want to listen to that. It's really a fascinating book and how the book came about. And it talks again about truly where football got started, professional football, not Canton, Ohio. So it'll be interesting to have Greg Fiercy on. We'll also have on for you tomorrow, Doug Martin. We'll talk some football and talk a little conference expansion with Doug and talk about what coaches and teams are going through right now as they get ready for week one. And we'll get into that, maybe even a little bit of the week 0 matchups as well. There are some of those, including Navy and Notre Dame from Ireland. We'll also have that for you at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day where we move our program on Fridays to 6 p.m. Make way for Steve Logan, who will be with us on the Logan Zone for 5 o'clock during the football season on Fridays, not only here, but also on our talk properties, 103.7 and 96.3. So you have Coach Logan from I-95 to the coast on Fridays talking ball. Looking forward to tomorrow's debut, 2023 debut of the Logan Zone. So that'll be a lot of fun. It was announced by Stephen Igo yesterday on his show, and I'm real honored to have been asked, but I'll be hosting, along with Stephen, the Inside ECU Athletics radio shows. We have our first one coming up from Tiebreakers at 6 o'clock on Monday. And that will include, of course, Mike Houston, essentially the Mike Houston radio program. So looking forward to talking Pirate football with Coach. Looking forward to being paired with Stephen again. Been a great asset to the IBX media family and our IBX sports coverage as well. So that will do it for today. Great to catch up with Jim Szoke, as it always is. And also thanks to Adler Augustin as the Pirates get ready to open things up in volleyball tomorrow on the road. Remember that they will be at home against Campbell next Thursday, the 31st, at 7 o'clock inside of Williams Arena, Minges Coliseum. I'm also seeing here in the last couple of minutes some info that I think is pretty interesting. One of our ACC sources, when I asked him about Cal, SMU, Stanford heading to the ACC, is that a legit happening, or what's the latest? Couple of responses I got from ACC sources. One, looks like it. It's not a matter of if, but when. Interesting. All right, that is it. We are done for the day. We'll catch you tomorrow morning on Talk of the Town, and then back here at 6 on 94.3 The Game for the Patrick Johnson Show.